Good morning. Gradient of a line. Have you heard about gradient of a line? Okay. Gradient is a quantity which decides how steep a line is. So gradient decides how steep a line is. Or gradient is a quantity which decides the position of the line, or which decides the inclination or slope of a line. You have heard about slope, slopy surface. Yes, like suppose we can say this surface is a slopy surface which moves upward direction. Here the car is in a slopy surface which moves in the upward direction. And if you see this one, here suppose if car goes down, we can say this is also a slopy surface where the car moves down. But if you see this surface, here the car moves horizontally. Yes, but is this movement possible for a car? This is also a surface. This movement is not possible. Just like upward direction, it is not possible. But that's also a movement. So when you consider the slopy surface, you can find these four type of slopy surface. So this position, this steepness or slopeness or inclination of a line is decided by a quantity named as gradient. Gradient is also known as steepness or slope. The other names of gradient are steepness or slope. The steepness or gradient of this line is depending upon the movement of y coordinate, how it moves to y coordinate based on x coordinate. Okay, so it is depending upon, the gradient is depending upon the change of y coordinate based on a change in x coordinate. So gradient can be calculated by a change in y. Gradient can be calculated by a change in y by an increase in x. It's nothing but when the x value increases, always you think x value increases. Okay, like if you think about speed, with respect to time, speed increases or decreases. So instead of x, there we have time when we consider speed and time. Okay, so the change of speed is with respect to time. When we start with an initial velocity 0, when the time increases, the velocity or the speed of the vehicle also increases. So increase of speed with an, that means change of speed with an increase of time, isn't it? When we are thinking about change of speed with respect to an increase of time, remember time always increases, time never decreases. Okay, if we consider a ratio in this format, that is the formula for gradient. And it is difficult for us to write the gradient always. So for gradient, we use the notation m. M is the notation for gradient, which is a change in y divided by an increase in x. When we consider a straight line, let's mark 2 points on this. Consider 2 points on the straight line. uh, let's take 2 points as x1 y1 and x2 y2. So we are taking 2 points on the straight line x1 y1 and x2 y2, ordered pairs x1 y1 and x2 y2. Now when we calculate the gradient, gradient is a change in y divided by an increase in x, which is a change in y. You check the y coordinate. Y coordinates are y1 and y2, isn't it? They are y coordinates. So a change in y, that means the difference in y denoted by y2 minus y1. So a change in y is denoted by y2 minus y1 divided by an increase in x. An increase in x is also denoted by x2 minus x1 difference. x2 minus x1. Suppose we have a 2 centimeter line. Now it is increased to 10 centimeter. What is the increase in the line? The first line is 2 centimeter and the second line is 10 centimeter. So what is the increase in this line? It is 8 centimeter. Now how do you get it as? 10 minus 2, which is same as change. Change, increase, both are giving us the same result here. Okay. So m gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is the formula. This is a formula to find the gradient of a line when the points are x1 y1 and x2 y2. For example, find the gradient of a line having the points 4, 6 and 8, 10. Okay, so here we have a line. That line has 2 points. One is 4, 6 and the other one is 8, 10. We have to find the gradient of this line. Remember, gradient is a quantity which decides the steepness of the line. Now we do not know how the line is. This is just an example line I have drawn. It's a rough diagram. This is not the correct one. Okay, we don't want to draw the correct one also. Okay, now let's see how to find the gradient. So when we have 2 points 4, 6 and 8, 10, we have to decide one pair as x1 y1 and the other pair as x2 y2. That is up to you, no issue. You can decide either 4, 6 as x1 y1 or 8, 10 as x1 y1, no problem. So here I decide x1 y1 as 4, 6. So x2 y2 is 8, 10. So we can get here x1 is the first term. Here the first term is 4. So x1 is 4, y1 is 6. Similarly, x2 is 8 and y2 is 10. Yes? Okay. So as per the formula, gradient of the line is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. If you don't remember this formula also, just you remember change in y by increase in x or change in y by change in x. That's enough. Y change by x change. That's enough. So do the y change. That means y2 minus y1. y2 minus y1 is 10 minus 6 or 6 minus 10. No issue. By x2 minus x1. As I have taken y2 first, in denominator it should be x2. If I take y1 first, denominator should be x1. Okay, so x2 minus x1, which is 8 minus 4. That is equal to 10 minus 6 is 4 by 10 minus 6 4, no? Yes, by 8 minus 4 4. So we get the result as 1. So the gradient of this line is 1. We get an idea that gradient of this line is 1. And from this you can understand one thing, the gradient is positive. 1 is plus 1. As the gradient is positive, you can understand the line moves in the upward direction. The position of the line will be like this. Okay, and if the gradient is negative, the line comes in this format. And if the gradient is 0, line comes like this, horizontal. Okay. Okay, now let's find the gradient of this line. So our line is AB with A is 2 minus 1 and B is 4 3. There are 2 points on the line. You know, on a line there are infinite number of points. Uncountable number of points are there on a line. So here from that uncountable or infinite number of points, we are taking just 2 points. That is 2 minus 1 and 4 3. Let's consider this one as x1 y1. So x1 is 2, y1 is minus 1, x2 is 4 and y2 is 3, isn't it? X1 y1 x2 y2. Now as per our formula, gradient is y2 minus y1, change in y by an increase in x, x2 minus x1, that is equal to y2, that is 3, minus y1 is minus 1 by x2 is 4 minus x1 is 2. That's equal to 3 minus of minus is plus 1 by 4 minus 2 is 2. So we get it as 4 by 2, which is equal to 2. So the gradient is 2. We get the gradient as 2. As the gradient is positive, you can decide the line moves like this. Okay. Once we know the gradient of a line, now let's find the equation of a line. So we are going to find the equation of a line. And in the beginning of the lesson, we discussed every straight line or every line, whether it is a line, straight line or curved line, every line has its own equation. And we discussed already, equation of a straight line will be a linear equation. Do you remember? Equation of a straight line is a linear equation, and we discussed what is a linear equation. It's an equation of degree 1. Okay, so the general form of a line is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. This is the general form of a straight line. And when we consider equation of a line, there are many types of equation of line based on the given condition. And in grade IGCSE classes, we learn only one equation, which is y is equal to mx plus c. So here we learn only one equation, which is nothing but y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, see, this is also a linear equation, same format. Just if you make y as the subject to the formula for this question, we get this answer. Okay, here what is m? In y is equal to mx plus c, m is, what is m? Just now we find what is nothing but gradient. M is gradient. Okay, and what is c plus c? C is known as y intercept. C is known as y intercept. What is C? It is y intercept. It's not intersect. It is intercept. Okay. Now let's think what is an intercept. I hope you have learned about like these figures in your previous classes. Like two straight lines, they are coplanar lines on the same plane, and it is passed by another line, we learned its name as transversal, and you might have learned about alternate angles, corresponding angles, co-interior angles, etc. Okay, that is not our concept. Our concept is, see here, this line intersect two other coplanar lines. Is it clear? From the question, from the figure you can understand. There is a line, we named it as transversal, which passes through two other coplanar lines. Understand what is coplanar lines? Are the lines on the same plane. So the transversal or a line passes through two other coplanar lines so that a distance is formed. A small distance is formed here. I'm telling it in a simple way, okay? A small distance is formed here. Okay, that is known as an intercept. That distance is considered as an intercept. When we consider it in coordinate system, means a system consists of x-axis, y-axis, origin, quadrants. The x-axis and y-axis, x and y-axis denotes these two lines, coplanar lines. And when we draw a straight line here, see this straight line passes through x-axis and y-axis, same like this. Okay, so that you see, this is origin, a distance is formed here, this length. It's a distance from origin to a point on x-axis. A distance from origin to a point on x-axis. This is known as x-intercept. X-intercept. So what will be y-intercept? Yes, this distance. This is considered as y-intercept. And in our formula, that is denoted with the sign C. So remember, the equation of straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. We have many equations that you learn in AS level and all. Okay. Now let us find the gradient and y-intercept. That means m and c of each of these questions. Okay. So for that, remember the formula, y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so when we consider the first question, we can write it as 4x plus minus 5. This minus 5 can be written as plus minus 5 because it is mx plus c. See, both are in same format. mx plus c, 4x plus minus 5. So here you can see the gradient m is the coefficient of x. So what is gradient? It is a coefficient of x in the formula. So what is the coefficient of x here? It is 4. So we can say m is 4 and c is minus 5. So it can be written as minus 3x plus minus 2. So coefficient of x is minus 3. That means m is minus 3 and c is minus 2. It must be plus c. That c can be minus or plus, that doesn't matter. So this is already in the same format. So here m is 1 by 3 and c is 2. But when we consider this question, this is not in the standard format. Standard format is y is equal to mx plus c. So we have to convert it into the form of y is equal to mx plus c. That means we want y as the subject to the formula. So let's do it as like minus 3y is equal to, already minus 9 is there. Take this 2x to right hand side. So it become minus 2x. Now let's divide both sides by minus 3. We get y is equal to minus 9 minus 2x all divided by minus 3. Okay, that is we get y is equal to, now this is a common denominator, we can distribute that to first term and second term. So we get minus 9 by minus 3 minus 2x by minus 3. Just split it into 2. That is y is equal to, we get this one as 3. Minus into minus become plus 2x. Or we get it as y is equal to 2x plus 3. So coefficient of x is 2. That is m is equal to 2 and c is 3 as a result. Another equation, 2x plus 3y minus 8 is equal to 0. Find the gradient and y-intercept. So for that, let's consider 3y here and take other terms. Which are the other terms? 2x and minus 8. Take them to right hand side. So when 2x goes to right hand side, it become minus 2x. And when minus 8 goes to right hand side, it become plus 8. Right? So that y is equal to minus 2x plus 8 the whole divided by 3. Transpose 3 to right hand side. So we get y is equal to, when you split it into both the terms, we get minus 2 by 3x plus 8 by 3. Now it is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. So what is m? It's minus 2 by 3 and c is 8 by 3. See here the gradient is negative. So you can understand the line goes like this, the position. Okay. And in the next class we'll discuss how to find the equation of line and the properties of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Thank you.